Hello, you gorgeous people. You're watching Kremchis. My name's Sanket. Surbi is not here with me. She bailed out on me apparently. She's gotten so busy that she's not even answering my calls. Just kidding. She's just taking a break and she'll be back next week. So, since I was going to do a movie by myself this week, I wanted to recommend something that's very close to my heart. And I know we say this about a lot of movies, but this one really is. The director whose movie that we're going to talk about today, Akira Kurosawa, is my favorite director of all time. He has made some of my favorite movies of all time. So it's like today I'm sharing a piece of my heart with you guys. So, what better way to start this journey than by recommending the movie that introduced me to him? And the movie is called Rashomon. Now, from this image, you must have assumed that there's a very old 50s Japanese black and white movie. And this might not really be something that's part of your daily watch list. But here's what I want to talk about today. I want to make a deal with you. Decide whether you want to watch this movie after watching this whole video. That's a fair deal, right? Choosing whether you want to invest your 88 minutes in a movie after watching the 10 or so minutes of this video. Now, the reason why I'm making this deal is because I guarantee you that by the end of this video, you're gonna wanna watch this movie. You know why? Because it's that fucking good. Okay, so this is what happens. We see a man, probably a woodcutter, right in the middle of nowhere. He's walking in the woods and he notices a hat in front of him, a woman's hat. And he's very confused because it's not something that he sees every day. He walks a bit further and he notices a piece of cloth and a rope wrapped around it. At this point, he's very confused. So he walks a bit further, and what he sees in front of him is a dead body. He's very shocked, dumbfounded, he's scared, obviously. So he makes a run for the village, and this is how Rashomon starts. You are right in the middle of the location where the crime has happened, and you're just trying to guess what has happened there. Now, I want to put a small disclaimer here. I'm going to be talking about a few of the plot points, so it might get a bit spoilery. But trust me when I say this, even if you know a lot about the movie, it's not going to hamper your experience. Because the movie is designed in a way in which the plot points are discussed through many perspectives. So you only take away whatever your interpretation is about the plot. But if you still don't want to know anything about the movie, feel free to watch the movie first and then finish the video. So, what happens is we get to know about what happened on that day the man gets murdered. We see this couple who's walking in the same woods that we see in the first scene. The wife is on the horse. She's wearing the same hat that we see in the first scene, and the husband's escorting her. While they're walking in the woods, right in the middle of the afternoon, we see a bandit see them. By the way, the bandit is played by Toshiro Mifune. If you don't know Toshiro Mifune, he is one of the best actors to have ever existed in cinema history. Trust me when I say this, he's just amazing in whatever that he does. He's also considered to be one of the most gorgeous faces in cinema history. So it was kind of a daring move for Kurosawa to make him a piece of shit bandit in this movie. Okay, so the bandit notices the couple and he is just smitten by the wife. He is so beguiled that he decides to make her his own. And that's what he does. He attacks the couple, he ties the husband up, and he starts wooing her. He shows her his moves. He also tells her that he's the best man for her and she should leave her husband for him. And what results is that she gives in. She surrenders, she succumbs to him, and they have sex in front of the husband. Now, I have a question to ask you here. Do you like the story? Do you believe the story? I'm asking you this because this is nothing but the perspective of the bandit while he's narrating the story to the police authorities. This is his version of what happened that day. In his version, he didn't want to kill the husband, he didn't assault the wife. He was the one that she chose over her husband. And that's the story that he chooses to tell. The second perspective is the wife's perspective, where everything is similar till he ties the husband up. But in her version, he actually assaults her while the husband's watching. After the assault, the wife runs to her husband and she's just crying her eyes out. She holds him tight and she's just crying, crying, crying. She's bawling. She doesn't know how she can live with the shame. But then she looks up, and what she notices is that the husband is not crying at all. He's not even showing a hint of sympathy or a hint of any emotion whatsoever. He's not even looking at her, he's looking away. And that's when she notices that he feels ashamed of her. The reason why he's not looking at her is because he doesn't see her as his wife anymore. So, what she does is that she takes the dagger and she kills her husband then and there. Now, after I saw this scene, I found her storyline to be much more exciting than the bandit storyline. Maybe because the emotions here are much more ambiguous than in the bandits. And I thought the movie couldn't get better than this. But there's a good 45 minutes that were remaining after this. You know why? Because we haven't seen the husband's perspective yet. Yes, in this movie, even the victim testifies in his own trial. How that happens, that's for you to figure out. That and the movie has a brilliant way of showing how the dead man comes to life just to talk about how he got murdered. So this is the husband's perspective. After the bandit ties him up, the bandit starts wooing his wife. He tells her, "I'm the one that you should go with. He's not a man. I'm so much more manlier than him, and I'm the one that you should go for. I'm the one that you should actually run away with. Abandon him." So she looks at him, and this is the image that you saw in the thumbnail because it's a beautiful scene. While he's looking at them, she looks at him and she says, "Wherever," which means that we can go wherever you want. I choose you, is what his interpretation of that conversation was. And that's not it. After they're done having sex, when they're leaving, while the husband's tied up, she stops the bandit and she tells him to kill the husband. She begs him to kill the husband because she doesn't even want to look at him anymore. And what happens is, now remember, this is the husband's perspective. What happens is, the bandit has some sort of a moral epiphany where he gains sympathy for the husband because he can't believe that a lady like this can exist, someone who has so much hatred in her. So he feels pity for the husband and he unties him and he goes away. The wife runs away too. The husband, after being free, is feeling so ashamed of himself because of his wife choosing the bandit over him and literally abandoning him. And that's when he takes the dagger and commits suicide. And that's the husband's perspective. In all three perspectives, there are three different killers, if you notice. In the first one, it's the bandit. In the second one, it's the wife. And in the third one, it's the husband himself. And that is not the only thing that's different in the storylines. You realize that in all three stories, the moral compass is actually pointing towards the person who's narrating it. In the first one, the bandit doesn't assault her, and he only kills the husband because the wife makes him do it. In the second one, she kills her husband because he not only doesn't sympathize with her, but also makes her feel alienated after she's gone through something so tragic. And obviously, in the third perspective, he puts all the blame of his death on his wife for abandoning him. And that's the beauty of Rashomon. It makes you choose what story you want to go for. This movie was so influential. The thing that we see here about the same situation told through multiple perspectives, it came to be known as the Rashomon effect. Look it up. There have been so many movies that are based on Rashomon effect. There was The Affair, the TV show, if you remember. In movies that there was Vantage Point, that's a great action movie. You see that. An assassination attempt that's been told through multiple character perspectives. Brilliant movie. So yeah, that's the beauty of Rashomon. I don't think there has been anything like it, and it's all come from the mind of the amazing Akira Kurosawa. If you like this, we will do more of Kurosawa movies in the future. Just to tell you, this is not my favorite Kurosawa movie. So if this movie is that good, just know that there's another movie that is even better than Rashomon. So if you want to know about that movie, please like the video. Please let me know in the comments what you thought about the movie. I want to know whether I was able to change your perspective on 50s black and white non English movies. So please let us know what you thought about our other videos as well. We'll obviously be coming back next week with a very dear recommendation of ours. So till then, have a great week and we love you. Bye.